I'm just going to record this as well for the replay. Are we good to go? Good. So, welcome everybody to this special metabolism boosting training. Just pop me in the chat box below that you can see me and hear me before we get stuck in. It is just 1 minute past 1, so we're going to get straight on and cracking into this really exciting training today that I'm really excited to share with you. It's so, so close to my heart, and having just recently gone through this experience again and having my metabolism, cool, all good, thanks Louise, having my metabolism kind of stall and make things difficult for me the last month with my fitness competition prep. It was something that just reminded me how I used to be in this situation many years ago, when you just feel so stuck and frustrated, like nothing you're doing is working. Losing weight just seems so difficult. So what I want to do is share with you today some of the reasons why this has happened to me. These could be the same reasons that this has happened to you. So let's get stuck in and find out what they are so I can give you some answers as well. We're probably going to be about 30 minutes here, if we can whiz through it all, but do feel free to chat in the box. This is an interactive training, so feel free to chat in the box and ask me a question if something occurs to you as we are going through. So what I'm going to do, this is the reason why we do Zoom, ladies. What I'm going to do is share my screen with you so that you can see my notes. Here we go. There, so you should now be able to see my screen. You should be able to see PowerPoint. Let me know in the chat box that we're good with the screen. I'm just going to pop the chat down there as well so I can see it. Cool, so let's get stuck in. Fire up your metabolism to restart weight loss easily. Who here that is joining live wants to lose weight, or are you just here out of curiosity? Like, let me know in the chat box. Cool, you can see Sarah, cool. Let me know in the chat box if you are on a weight loss journey or wanting to start one. Like, whereabouts are you? Let me know. Then I can help you as much as possible from this training today if I know where you are and how, you know, how things are going for you. So let me know, you know, how much weight you want to lose, if you feel stuck, if you feel frustrated, if you feel that losing weight is hard, or you've got stubborn weight that just doesn't want to seem to move, and you feel like you've tried everything. Let me know as many details in the comments, and then I can adapt this for you and come back to your specific situation, okay? So let's get stuck into the training. First of all, what the fuck is going on? Right. What's going on? What is going on when weight loss is so hard, when it just seems to be getting harder and harder? You know, those old strategies that you were using in the past just don't seem to work anymore. And, you know, I don't know about you, but I remember getting to the point where I was even questioning myself, right? Like, what is wrong with me? Yeah, I think as women, we tend to do that so often, where we take things personally. It's like, you know, I can see other people can do it, other women can do it, there must be something wrong with me. So first of all, if you're in that position right now and you're feeling that maybe something's wrong with you or something is wrong with your body, I just want you to know that I understand, and I want you to understand through this training that actually there is nothing wrong with you, and this is completely possible for you to get lean and to have energy and to feel amazing. And with these ideas, this is a short training, right? So we're going to be whizzing through and touching on things, but with these ideas, it should really help you get things into motion and get your metabolism moving again. If you put this stuff into practice, right? If you do the stuff that I'm going to tell you about today. So this idea that we've been lied to in the weight loss world, and I want to be really upfront here. You know, I write posts about this stuff, and you might have read, like, I love doctors, I love the NHS in the UK. Our NHS system, I think, is incredible. It's helped me so much at different times in my life, and I have a huge amount of respect for GPs. I have a huge amount of respect for the work they do and the pressure that they're under. But we get lied to. we get lighted, we get fobbed off about stuff, and it's not their fault. But I remember when I was in my 20s and I was just gaining and gaining weight, and I would go to my GP and I would sit there and yeah, and I would feel embarrassed because like he didn't know that I was eating healthy and going to the gym. Like he just had my word, right? He just had my word for that. So I'd sit there and I'd say, I've put on another stone, another 14 pounds. You know, the picture on the left there in the red top, like I was a confident girl. I was okay with my body. I didn't hate myself or hate the way I looked. But you know, I was overweight. I was flabby. I was, you know, if you want something to compare it to, I'm 5'4", just about 5'4". I think in that picture I was probably pushing around 11 stone. So I carry weight well. But that was, you know, like 3 stone overweight for me, 3 stone heavier than I had been. So I remember feeling so frustrated. I remember thinking, this is just getting worse. If I can't get control of my weight now, at 23, and like what's going to happen in the future? What's going to happen next? Like I was scared of having a baby. I was scared of getting pregnant because I thought that's only going to make it harder. I was, you know, I was really worried because I really genuinely felt that I was doing everything right, that I was eating healthily, that I was going to the gym. And if that wasn't going to work, then what would? Then what was going to work? So I was really concerned at that time, and being really concerned, I tried lots of different things. I signed up for Weight Watchers. I even took fat burning pills, which didn't agree with me at all because I was a very anxious young woman. I suffered a lot from anxiety and occasionally from panic attacks. So the fat burning pills just made me feel shaky and gave me worse anxiety. So I tried a lot of things, and I even married a personal trainer. So I was doing the exercise properly. I was going to the gym regularly, and I was eating, you know, a relatively healthy diet. I wasn't eating anything crazy, so it just didn't make sense to me. Let me just check the comments. So that was my story in my 20s. Sarah says, putting into practice I can't do. If I ate better, I would lose weight. Right. Okay. So, you know, sometimes we know, right, Sarah, like sometimes we know that we're just eating too much. Sometimes we know that we could be eating better. But there are women and there are times in our lives when we feel like we are eating well, when we feel like we are, you know, we can always do better, right? We're so hard on ourselves. We really beat ourselves up. Women really do that. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit as well, and how that can affect your body and your weight. We really beat ourselves up. And so even the times probably when you have tried to eat better, maybe you haven't seen the results that you wanted to get. Yeah, maybe you didn't see the results fast enough. Maybe you didn't feel that the results that you got were equal to the amount of effort that you put in, right? Can anyone relate to that? Like feeling like if it's this much effort just to lose a pound or 2 pounds, or so maybe you've done stuff that works and then you give up because it's so frustrating not getting the body you want. It's so frustrating not getting to the level or the result you'd really like to see, you know, whatever your personal preferences, physique-wise, if you want to be leaner, stronger, like whatever it is, if you want to be, you know, curvy and sexy and sculpted. If you're not getting those results, then you will find it really hard to be consistent. So many women do feel like they eat well, but they just can't keep it going long enough. So, you know, Sarah, maybe, I don't know if that's applicable in your case. Like, have you tried eating well in the past, but you've given up because it hasn't kind of worked for you? It hasn't been fast enough, so you just don't feel motivated to do it anymore. Okay, so I want to tell you right now, it's not your fault. You know, it's really not your fault. And I'm just trying to think how to put this, because this is a funny thing to say, because, you know, I'm all for people being called out on their own bullshit. Like if I'm speaking to a client and, you know, and I think they're lying to themselves, and I think that, and if they say that they're not eating the cookies and they're not doing this stuff, if I think they're lying to themselves, then I want to call them out, right? I want them to be honest with themselves, because we're not going to get anywhere. We're not going to change our body and our life and our minds if we're not being honest and aware of our problem. But if you have tried, right? If you have tried, if you've genuinely tried and you've genuinely followed diet plans and you've been going to the gym, I want you to know it's not your fault if that hasn't worked, okay? If you haven't tried that, then try it, right? Try it. But you probably have. All the women I speak to have tried it. They've tried and they've tried and they've tried, and they just can't understand why they can't keep trying long enough to get the result that they want. And that's not your fault. There's nothing wrong with your willpower. There's, you know, you're not lazy. It's not, you know, because you're not in other areas of your life, right? If you're anything like, okay, I don't know who's on here right now. You can chat to me in the chat box, or if you're catching this on the replay, I can tell you right now, like, I don't believe that you're a lazy person, whoever you are. You know, if you're a mom, I bet you're not lazy with your kids. Like, I bet you don't have a problem with willpower when it comes to, you know, turning up in your job or your career or your business. So I don't believe that it's because women are lazy. I don't believe these things, or especially not the women that I work with. And that definitely wasn't the case with me. So it's not your fault, okay? So if it's not your fault, then what the hell is going on? Should we take a look? Yeah, should we take a look at this? So we're going to look at the saboteurs of fat loss, and then we're going to put that in context of the things that you can do to correct this if you recognize that this might be the case for you. Now, this is a generalized webinar. I am not a doctor. I'm a psychotherapist. I'm not a nutritionist. So this information that I'm giving you is information for you to go away. Please do your research. I always encourage people, please do your research and you decide what you take away from this, okay? But this is information that I think is really helpful, and it's information that's really changed my body and changed my life. So we're going to have a look at the 2 top saboteurs in our training today. And the first one that we're guilty of as women, unfortunately, and I say this is for women. I'm very clear that this is for women, because the first saboteur is estrogen, right? As women, we are much heavier in estrogen than men. We have a tendency to build up estrogen and suffer from problems because of the lack of balance in our bodies between our sex hormones, the estrogen and the progesterone. But today we're looking specifically at estrogen, and there's a reason for that. So if you have any of these kind of symptoms or issues with your body, you might be able to identify as somebody that has too much estrogen. What are the signs of too much estrogen in the body? One of the top signs of problems with estrogen is problems with your menstrual cycle. Yeah, problems with your periods. Now, when I was 11 years old, the year before I started to really gain weight, my weight began to get out of control. When I started my periods, you know, I was a typical young girl. I just started my periods. They were irregular. In my case, they were super heavy. They were incredibly painful, like curled up on the sofa, kind of painful, missing school, kind of painful, interrupting with my life. I didn't know at the time, right? This was, when was I 11? 30, not quite 30 years ago, but at least 20 years ago. I didn't know about hormonal balance. I didn't know why, at that time I was a healthy weight, a healthy 11-year-old girl. Why would I be having these problems? Is that just something that we're born with, something we're genetically predisposed by? You know, that's really how I felt at the time. So I was displaying all these signs of estrogen dominance. So problems with my periods. Let me know in the comments here so I can help you most I can. If anyone else has experienced, you know, irregular periods, heavy bleeding, period pains, other things that this often leads to as well, aside from our menstrual issues, because we kind of know estrogen, menstrual stuff, right? Energy crashes, like not being able to get past either that mid-morning or that mid-afternoon slump, having problems with bloating and water retention, just feeling like, you know, even if you do start losing weight and losing fat, you just start kind of bloating out or feeling like you've got a really round tummy. Sometimes you can just feel that, right? It took me a long time to understand what was the difference between weight gain and bloating. Like, and now I can feel it. I can feel when I'm bloated. I can feel the difference between bloating and weight gain. But I didn't used to know that. Exercise resistance. What do I mean by exercise resistance? Exercise resistance is when you're working out, and this is one of the top problems that I see with the women I work with. When you're working out a lot, you are not getting the results from doing those workouts. That's what I mean by exercise resistance. Your body is not responding. It's not relational to the amount of effort that you're putting in. You know, if you're going to these boot camp things, if you're working out like at least 3 times a week, maybe with a personal trainer in a gym, and you feel like your body isn't responding to that, then you may have some issues with exercise resistance. You may have issues with estrogen. Other things that we see with estrogen problems are polycystic ovaries, PCOS, lots of kind of hormonal things, even infertility and issues around the whole reproduction system. So this can create problems with our thyroid. This can create problems in the long term going forward. But the good news is there is stuff that we can do about it, right? So this isn't all the doom and gloom. I'm going to cover here, first of all, like what are the potential issues, and then we're going to look at ways to solve it. So if you're looking at this thinking, oh my God, yes, that's me, and just feeling like hopeless, remember, if you're watching this, remember I went through all this stuff. I suffered from endometriosis, fibroids, all kinds of menstrual issues and hormonal imbalance, and those things are not happening to me now at a time in my life when I'm probably heading towards the menopause at some point in the next few years. My hormones are the best they've ever been. So there is hope, right? And I really want you to know about this. I don't think it's for me at the moment. Okay, this is excuses my problem. Cool, Sarah. That's awesome that you are recognizing that. Louise, energy crashes, bloating, impaired thyroid, periods very regular, some pain but not a lot. Okay, tiredness is silly. Okay, cool. So we got some people kind of acknowledging some of these issues. You're not going to have all of them necessarily, but if you can identify with some of the things on there, then it may be for you. Let's see how we're going to get on with the second one. So we've got 2 saboteurs of our fat loss. So that was estrogen, one of our sex hormones. The second one, can anyone guess? If you joined this, you probably saw my post about it, so you know what it is. So the second saboteur of our fat loss, this is a big one. This is an important one. Your brain. Your brain. How does your brain sabotage fat loss? Now, I'm not talking about behavior stuff. So Sarah, completely get what you're saying about making excuses, not sticking to stuff. So, you know, that's kind of like a mindset issue, right? And that's a lot of what I do a lot of the time with my work in this as a psychotherapist. But it is important for us to understand that sometimes it's not a mindset issue, and sometimes there are physical, hormonal issues that are creating physical problems in our body, and that creates a mindset issue at the end of it, which I'm going to be covering here, okay? So it is all related. So how is your brain sabotaging your fat loss? So here's the thing, right? We all know that stress is bad for us. We all hear that we are too stressed these days, but what does that actually mean? How do you know if you're stressed, and what are the implications of that on your body and specifically on fat loss? So without going into all the in-depth stuff today in this short training, can we just get a digital show of hands for everybody who can understand ultimately what controls your body and what controls whether you let go and burn fat is signaled by your brain. Your brain is the control system. Like, can we get a high five, digital high five, or, you know, show of hands that we all understand that whatever it is, you know, how many calories we are consuming, how much exercise we're doing, how much sleep we're getting, all these important things. Ultimately, it is our brain as our control center that decides what is going to happen in the body. Yeah? Yes. We got yes. Yes, cool, awesome. So what does stress do specifically to our brains that causes us problems with burning fat? Does anyone know? Has anyone been on any of my fat burning mind trainings? Fat burning mind. How can your mind burn fat? Anyone? So cortisol. Cortisol is a hormone that is released into the body when we are suffering from stress. And here's a little fact that you might not know if you haven't worked with me before, is that when you have cortisol present in your bloodstream, your body is not physically able to burn fat for fuel. Big, big, big truth bomb there for you if you haven't heard that before. When there are high levels of stress, your body can physically not burn fat for fuel. So before all the kind of like scientists that say calories in versus calories out start, you know, their brains start exploding if they're listening to this, here's what I'm going to explain to you. If you are in a calorie deficit, if you are eating less calories than you need to, or doing lots of exercise and burning more energy, if your body cannot get its fuel from fat, it will get its fuel from somewhere else. Does that make sense? So if it's not possible for your body to burn fat at times of stress, it will go somewhere else to get its energy. Where will it go? Where will it get it from? It'll get it from your lean muscle. It'll get it from your precious lean body tissue. That's where it will get it from if it can't get it from fat. Your body doesn't like to burn fat. Fat burning is like the ultimate last thing it will do if it's really forced to do it, because it wants to preserve fat for emergencies in the future. Like, this is evolution, ladies. This is the way as women we were designed not to have super low body fat. And your body doesn't really quite get it that you might not be super low body fat at the moment. You know, if you've got like a stone or 2 stone of body fat to lose, the body doesn't quite get it and it wants to hold on to it. So this is where we have to begin to understand our bodies better and understand what happens when you put your body into times of stress. Your body will want to hold on to more fat. So you can lose weight. You can lose weight, but you can lose weight from other areas of your body that are not healthy. And that's why you end up giving up. That's often why so many women end up giving up, because tiny amounts of weight move off the scale, like the bare minimum, and they feel like shit. And of course they feel like shit because their body's doing everything it can to preserve the fat that could be like a great source of fuel, because you're in a calorie deficit, right? You're not eating enough, you're eating less, and maybe you're exercising more, which is just stressing the body even more. And it's a cycle that keeps on going. So when the brain is stressed, when the mind is stressed, when the body is stressed, exercise is a stress on the body. It's a form of stress. Weight loss is a stress on the body. It finds it hard to release fat, okay? Finds it hard to release fat. So this is your brain signals this procedure in your body. It's so important to understand this at a chemical level and at a level of how your brain and your central nervous system works. I hope we're not going too technical here, but I just want to cover this, right? So let me know that you're following, and so we can keep moving on. So cortisol in the body, if you can, I hope you can read my screen on there, okay? Cortisol in the body has all kinds of effects, not just affects the way that you burn fat, which is a process that happens in your liver. So it doesn't just affect that. It will affect your sleep. It will affect your mood. It will affect your energy. It will also make you crave food. So this is where the body's so smart. So last month I was doing my fitness competition prep. Well, I'm still doing it. And I started to feel my cortisol levels creep up because I'm aware of this process in my body and my brain now. I started to feel my stress levels creep up. I started to feel a little bit anxious. I started to feel a little bit kind of edgy. My mood was okay, but I was really tearful really easily. Now, here's such a smart thing that the body does. Last month, when I was really, really pushing it and really dropping down my calories and increasing my exercise, I started to not sleep properly. Like, And I'm great with sleep, apart from my little toddler, my 3-year-old that sometimes likes to disrupt my sleep. I'm a great sleeper. I started having problems sleeping, right? Now, here's the really clever thing about your body. If you cut calories and it's not happy, it will find ways for you to keep storing more fat. Now, I did a video a couple of weeks ago about people who have a full night's sleep, that's 7 or 8 hours sleep, burn 400 calories a day more than people that have around 6 hours sleep or less. Yeah? So can you see, is this making sense here? Like, let me know in the comments, because I want to make sure that you're following so that we can keep this really interactive. If you're trying to burn fat, if you're trying to lose weight and change your body, and your body wants to hold on because it's stressed or because you have a hormonal imbalance, it will do things to slow down weight loss. So in my case last month, it disrupted my sleep, right? My hormones got unbalanced, and that includes my, my sleep, my leptin levels, my ghrelin levels, melatonin. Where does this all come from? Where is this all? It's all controlled by the brain. So I was burning 400 calories less just because I wasn't sleeping well. So last month, even though I was eating less and exercising loads, I didn't lose any more weight. I got stuck. My metabolism got stuck. Are we following this? Like, let me know. Let me know in the comments that we're following this. So it's not cool. James says, yeah, good. So it's not that calories in and calories out doesn't work. It does, but there's more to it than that. Yeah. If you drop your calories too low, your body will respond accordingly by changing your behavior, by making you more hungry, by giving you more cravings, by changing how many hours sleep a night you get, by making you irritable or grumpy. Like, your brain is really smart at doing this stuff because it wants to protect you. Yeah. Not because it wants to like screw things up for you. It has your best interest at heart. Of course, you are part of the same thing. You are the same thing. But it has a way of protecting you from losing weight, because that is the way evolution designed women's bodies. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, cool. So let's get on to the juicy stuff then. We've got about 10 minutes left, so I'm going to have to whiz through this bit so that we're not here too long. Anyone can get lean, right? Can you tell me if you believe me when I say that to you? Can you tell me in the comments? Do you believe that? Like, do you believe you can? Do you believe that this is possible for you? Because I didn't believe that this was possible for me for a long time. And that's another training as well about how we can get that belief in order to make these changes to our body and our life. That anyone can get lean, right? Like, even if you have estrogen dominance, even if you have PCOS, even if you have thyroid issues, autoimmune issues, even if you're stressed, you have a stressful job, or you're a busy woman, a mom, even if you have all these things, you can still work with your body. The key is knowing that it's happening and then knowing what to do about it. This is why I want to shed light on it today, because if you can find out, first of all, what's happening, secondly, what to do about it, then you're one step closer to making this your reality, right? Absolutely amazing, fabulous. So it is possible for you. So I just want you to know there is no fixed approach here, okay? Because each woman has different hormones, a different metabolism, a different mindset. So these are going to be some general guidelines that I want you to go away and research this stuff and decide which parts of this are applicable for you. So I'm going to give you my recommendations. So first of all, what can we do about our hormones if we are a woman that we recognize has a lot of estrogen? Some of the signs of having a lot of estrogen are having big hips, big thighs, big bum. Storing a lot of weight on the lower half of your body is a very estrogen dominant trait. That's definitely me. Cellulite. Have you noticed that some women store body fat in different ways? So if you have that kind of lower half of the body is very big, you're probably somebody that tends to hoard a lot of estrogen. That's just your body type. So the 3 recommendations that I have for you regarding, sorry, we have 10 minutes here, it's telling me. Thank you for the reminder, Zoom. My 3 top recommendations for dealing with estrogen dominance are, first of all, look at your environment where you could be getting estrogen mimicking toxins in the environment. What do I mean by that? Again, go away and research this stuff if this is new to you. If you know it already, fab, store this information away to put it into practice. Estrogen mimicking toxins, of course, contraception. That's something that comes up often with women who want to lose weight, and it was definitely a problem for me in my 20s, taking hormonal contraceptive pills and the effect that had on my body. And then things in your environment, from your food, the kind of food that you're eating, plastics, using plastic bottles, all of these things that sound a little bit extreme can have a huge effect. If we are prone to estrogen dominance, they can have a huge effect on the way that our body hoards and doesn't want to let go of the excess estrogen. Water. I have spent my life avoiding drinking water. Again, that's another training. We can do one on that. But often women don't drink enough water. If you don't drink enough water, you can't metabolize fat in your liver. Okay, so everyone knows drink more water, it helps with weight loss, but nobody explains why, and we haven't got time to go into the biochemistry of it in this training. But just know that if you drink more water, the more hydrated you are, the easier it is for your liver to convert fat into energy, and you burn fat quicker, right? Another way of balancing out your estrogen is to eat more fiber. Fiber acts like a little bus. Imagine fiber as a little bus driving through your body, and it comes and picks up all the estrogen, people. Fiber is amazing for you. If you find you have any kind of digestive problems, tummy trouble, tummy aches, IBS, if you have trouble digesting things, this is another reason why we can end up with a build-up of estrogen, because we are not digesting well, and it can end up just like floating around in our body. So fiber gathers up estrogen, so it's a great tool to use. And something maybe you haven't thought of in terms of balancing out your hormones is using food. So where can you get more fiber? Green vegetables is the biggest way. So next on, let's look at my recommendations for boosting your metabolism. Ladies, if you have a problem with cortisol, stress, hormones in your body, you need to cut down how much exercise you're doing. Do you know that? Do you know that? You need to cut down. You need to stop working so hard in the gym. You need to stop doing so much cardio. You need to cut down the amount of exercise classes you're doing. I was working out 4 or 5 times a week when I couldn't lose weight. And even last month on my comp prep, you know, doing all this, even doing weightlifting and not doing any cardio, exercise becomes a stress on the body. And when cortisol levels are high, we need to bring them down again so that we can signal to the brain, remember it's the brain, we can signal to the brain that it's safe to release the fat. Okay, so sometimes, not forever, but sometimes we need to lower the amount of exercise we're doing. So my recommendation, if that scares you a bit, if you love exercise, my recommendation is to stick to things that are very low level. Stick to things that are almost relaxing. Going for a walk. Going for a walk is one of the best types of exercise that you can do, like not in the gym doing like cardio attack and all this stuff. You're just going to stress your adrenals, stress your body even further, and make it hard for your body to repair the muscle fibers as well that are being, you know, stretched when you're at the gym. So NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, is just moving your body in the day rather than doing exercise at the gym. Okay, so the benefits of NEAT, of just moving your body around more. If you want some suggestions on how to do that, you know, drop me a message after this. Say, what do you mean, Sarah? I don't get it. What do you mean NEAT? Or Google it, right? Google it and look it up. So the benefits of doing NEAT instead of heavy exercise is that you will produce less cortisol and keep your insulin under control, okay, which is your blood sugar levels. The result of doing less exercise is that you can become less hungry. So has anyone else experienced that when they go to the gym, they just get hungrier? And the more exercise they do and the more they go to the gym, it's just the hungrier they get and the more food they want to eat, right? Like, I've never met anyone that said, I started going to the gym and I just wanted to eat less. Like, it makes you hungry. There's a reason for that. Your body's so smart. You go to the gym, you burn a load of energy, it wants you to eat more. So do less exercise, do smarter exercise, normalize your hunger cravings, eat better naturally, and create a diet that works for you around normalizing these levels, okay? Metabolic advantage. So when we're looking at optimizing our metabolisms, we have a huge advantage over men, because you might have seen in some of my posts, I made it look a bit doom and gloom, right? Oh, poor women. Someone said, oh, you know, being a woman looks exhausting. It's great. I love being a woman. I really love being a woman. It's fantastic. Such a privilege. Women actually generate 93% more human growth hormone than men. Human growth hormone will naturally burn fat for you and sculpt lean muscle. So again, doing activities that are going to switch on your human growth hormone, doing activities like lifting weights, again, Google this. This is top level stuff, right? So this is, if I'm going a bit fast, then rewatch this, take notes, go and look this stuff up, because this is what really works. Doing activities that are going to increase your human growth hormone are the way that you're going to really tap into your advantage as a woman to burn fat. We do this so much better than men when we do it properly. So my recommendations on how to deal with stress. I think a lot of people say people are stressed, like chill out, do yoga and stuff. So I'm going to give you some practical recommendations. My top recommendation is magnesium. Yeah, who here takes magnesium or is aware that magnesium is needed? The reason why magnesium is so amazing for you is that you need magnesium to get the sugar in your blood from the food that you're eating into your cells, right? Yes, Louise, that yes to magnesium, fantastic. When you are under stress, your magnesium levels fall. When you eat sugar, your magnesium levels fall. And guess what? There is less magnesium in the world now in the soil where our food grows than ever before. So we are usually magnesium deficient, or at least low in magnesium. So we need to increase these levels to reduce stress and improve the way that our body is dealing with sugar. Take magnesium baths. You can have them really hot as well, so you can sweat, you can lose weight doing that, you can increase your metabolism, plus you can relax and absorb all that amazing magnesium in through your skin. You can also take supplements and have magnesium rich food. So we have got 2 minutes left, ladies. This online meeting, the downside, gives me a limited amount of time, but it's good because we have to move through it fast and wrap things up. I'd love to know your number one takeaway. Let me know in the chat box your number one takeaway. But these are the takeaways that I would like you to have got from this half an hour training today. So eat less and exercise more does not work. Yeah? Do we agree on that? Like, just eating like a bird and starving yourself and going crazy in the gym just makes you feel shit and it makes you feel worse. And you'll often find that won't even help you lose weight anymore. So that doesn't work. Let's forget that. Let's do stuff that does work. Let's do stuff that does get results. It's not your fault. I want you to take away from this training, it is not your fault. You're not lazy. It's not your willpower. Like you are fighting against your genetics. You are fighting against evolution. So be aware of that. Work with it instead of against it. This is something I can really help people do. And stress is the number one enemy to weight loss. But you can do this. It's going to throw me off now. I've got like 30 seconds left. You can do this. 100% you can do this. If I can do this, you can 100% do this. If you want to get these kind of results, if you want to cut down that belly fat, shrink some of that fat from around your hips and your bum and your thighs and get rid of cellulite, follow my recommendations. Pop me a message. The one little nugget I didn't even know is to drink water. I didn't know I was doing it. Amazing, fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone that's joined live. And if you have been watching this on replay as well, I hope you've enjoyed it. And I've really enjoyed you being here. You've been fantastic. Amazing Zoom. Thanks, Louise. It was a quick one today, so loads in there. Pop me a message, drop me a line. If you need anything clarified from the training, I'll go back and watch this. There will be a replay, but it will only be available for 24 hours after today. Okay, so take care, everybody, and I will see you very soon. Bye. We are just gonna click on end. Bye, everyone.